Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Torch. Today is a very, very special day. Guys, we have somebody here today that, number one, you've been asking for a lot. And number two, was on the very first episode of Survivor and the very last episode of Survivor that you saw. Jenna Lewis is here.
Welcome, Jenna. We're so excited to have you today.
I'm very excited to be here, but I have no idea why you guys are so excited. Like there's absolutely no reason to be. I was gardening like an hour ago and then I got in the shower and was like, what's my hair gonna do today? Like I've been putting it up.
Listen, I think that's why I love you. I mean, I just finally met you last summer for the first time. And I was like, oh God, she is everything I knew she would be. You're so real. You're so relatable. You're such a normal human being.
Yes.
But you play this extraordinary show three times. And, you have such a legendary sort of presence kind of woven throughout the entire show. This is like, you should be so proud of yourself for that, Jenna. So do not downplay.
I agree. I honestly, you say, I don't know why. And it's kind of nostalgic for me. I grew up watching you. I loved the villainess play that you had in All Stars. And I feel like it's just this underrated almost mentality of this iconic player, Jenna, who has been literally from the beginning to the end. Even though it's not the end, but you know what I'm saying. I'm super happy to have you. It's really cool for me as a super fan, who then went to play himself and to be here with you. So thank you.
Well, I'm pleased to be here. I love all this love. Come on. I mean,
yeah. Okay, we'll give you some more then.
So. Good.
Yeah, your family's like, it's just mom. What's the big deal?
It's exactly it. Yeah.
They don't get it. I know. I feel
they
that.
Don't care.
Well,
they don't care at all.
That's funny. That's crazy.
I have the cover of Time magazine, right? Like I was on the cover of Time magazine, which blows my mind because they didn't have any world leaders to put on at that time. But my kids, other people walk into the house and they're like, oh my gosh, the cover of Time. My kids are like, oh, that's so dumb. Does anyone even read magazines? I'm like, oh.
Well, that's something I actually do want to talk about in a little bit, but we should do the fans have spoken first because I do have a question about the Time magazine.
Yes.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. So Jenna, what we do is every time we have a show, we like to include the fans. Todd and I love the fans because we were the fans, even before we were ever on the show. And so we do this thing called the fans have spoken. They leave a up to 90-second voicemail just about what they are thinking about the show, or even if they have questions or whatever. So today we're going to hear from Ricky.
I remember when Survivor first started, my mom was still alive at the time and we used to watch together. So watching Survivor reminds me of spending time with my mom before she passed away. It gave me something to obsess over and watch year after year, and I absolutely loved it. Grew to love certain cast members, loved following them on MySpace, Facebook, and then, of course, finding a community of people who love Survivor and becoming a family with them has impacted my life greatly. And I absolutely still love Survivor, although I have not watched it in a long time. It's still wonderful to just talk about it.
That is beautiful. That was Ricky. Oh, thank you so much for calling in. That was beautiful.
It really, really touched my heart, especially as a mom and as a daughter who lives very, very far away from her mom. Really touched my heart because I know I have those kind of things with my older daughters who are, they're 30 this year. And I was a single mom for so long. And I remember curling up with them and we had our TV shows that we watched. So I feel very nostalgic about those things. So it's great that I get to be a part of that. It just doesn't feel like my life's big enough to care, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
No, I get it. Well, we hear it all the time, I guess, because we're on a podcast, but people genuinely, they are so, they connect with their family and then they also create their own sort of sub family with fans. And it is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know of any other show that has ever kind of had this sort of, I feel like it's this tree trunk with a bunch of branches growing out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love it.
It kind of reminds me. So one thing, I make the custom Funko Pops. So I got an order that I finished the other day. Stop. There it is.
Jenna is showing us her custom Funko Pop.
You think that I didn't have it right available? Are you kidding?
I love it. I love that.
I love mine too.
there is somebody who I just finished like a wedding couple, so like wedding cake toppers, right? And I didn't know any, like it was a regular order and they're in their wedding attire, but then after I sent them, he said, I just wanted to say we're also huge Survivor fans and we actually met through Survivor. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, we were like matched on, Hinge or something. And he sent me their first messages and they said, like, what was your favorite TV show if you could like only watch one? And it was Survivor. And that's how they started talking and connecting. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool.
That's
Yeah.
Just bizarre
yeah.
to be a
Do
part
you
of this
guys
little world.
Do you guys think it's because they revolve each year and also because they're real people? Like they are still grabbing real people. There are people that I think that they cast because they're over the top of their personality, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Boston Robs, the coaches, those types of people. But I think for the rest of them, it's really just somebody. We always joked around that you could just grab a scoop of people at a bus stop and you could get for all
It's
walks of life. I feel like that's why people connect for such a long time for all of the cast members of Survivor.
I
that's a
think
good
you're
point.
right. I think you hit the nail on the head right there
Mhm.
because people, every cast that's announced, people find their person. They find the one that they want to root for, and then the one that they want to root against. And
Mhm.
it's just the cycle. And then, good or bad, love or hate, it's something to talk about. It's a conversation piece. And I think
Yes.
that's why it's so successful still.
Well, and I think
I
it's
think
attainable. You know what I mean? Like it's something that they could do. Many of these fans are trying out every single time. And
Yeah.
so it feels like something that not only is fun to watch, but it's like literally you could be a part of it one day, if you just keep trying and don't give up. And if it's your time, it'll happen. Which
Yep.
which
Well,
leads me to my first question for you, Jenna.
exactly.
What were you thinking? You were 22 years old. You had tiny little kids. You were
Mhm.
just starting your life, and this crazy show comes up. How did you hear about it? Why did you want to do it? Nobody even knew what Survivor was yet.
No. So I was a single mom. I had married my high school sweetheart. Wasn't the girl to get pregnant my first year of college, but I did. And when I found out it was twins, I was like, okay, that's kismet. It's just supposed to happen. We tried to get married. That did not work. So I was literally working 2 jobs and going back to school with my mom helping me watch the twins. They were 3 when I applied. And when I went to log into my Hotmail account, which I still have, by the way. And it just said on it, 16 castaways, 1 will survive. And I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kill 15 people on national
Lord of the
TV.
Flies.
That's what I thought. And I was like, hell yes. Like I clicked on it and I read the premise and I thought, first off, I was born and raised in Maine and New Hampshire. Like to explain how I was raised to kids today, I don't think they get it. Like, number one, you just ran around. Like, you didn't have cell phones. Your parents didn't know where you were. You were always on your bike. But also, it's in the backwoods of Maine. Like, we had a nature trail in back of our school where you'd just go walk, and then there were dead, rotting carcasses of like moose and like it's just a different world. To graduate our 5th grade science class, you had to go out and spend a night in the snow in February with 1 match. Like you had your tent and stuff, but you had 1 match. And if you couldn't do it,
Okay.
you were, yeah, it was in the backyard, like literally by the river in Waterville, Maine. And you went back up to the gym if you gave up, and there were teachers there. But seriously, you were out there just in a tent with like 1 match in the snow.
That's
Like, so
crazy.
Survivor sounded really cool. And I thought the physical part won't bother me, a bit. And I also was feeling a little bit like my life was small. Like I was starting at 22, I was starting to feel like there was this great big world out there that I wasn't seeing. I think we all kind of go through that, whether it's during
Yes,
college or, yeah,
absolutely.
you start to think about, oh my gosh, look at everything that's out there. And I'm in this tiny little town in New Hampshire. So I also thought it would test me. It would be a challenge to myself. And it would also bring me out into the world and let me see a lot of it.
But you had no idea the hit
No,
that it was going to be, of course.
no,
I
we had
mean,
no
you
idea.
probably didn't even know if it would really be picked up, did you?
That's exactly it. We signed everything, and every single thing had a caveat like, that's if it airs, like if this ever gets picked up. And so we were kind of like, we're going to go out and do this thing and it'll be kind of fun. And then if people like it, and then like by the time the 3rd episode aired and we ate the bugs, the world stopped.
The
And the world
world
was never
stopped.
the same for me. Like everywhere I went was like, it was like being a beetle. And I know that people don't believe that, but I would
No,
walk
I
down the
do.
street in San Francisco. After the show, I moved with my daughters to San Francisco where my brother lived. And I would walk down the street, and when somebody would see me, the cars would stop in the middle of San Francisco traffic, and people would get out and try, oh my God, you're that girl from Survivor. Oh my God. Like, it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, there were millions and millions and millions of viewers per week. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
on average now it's like between 9 and 15 is where it goes, I believe, per week. But back then it was like 30 to 60 million viewers per week, which is crazy. That's Super
Unbelievable.
Bowl
Yeah.
status.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy. Wow.
I know.
So, okay, you send in your audition tape.
Mhm.
What happened then? You got the call, obviously.
That's a funny story too. So on my audition tape, I had auditioned and filled out everything under my married name from my husband from my high school. And I had moved out into a little apartment with my daughters. And so when they were trying to find me, this isn't Facebook era and stuff. They were like, oh my gosh, how do we get a hold of her? Everyone had landlines. So I didn't have my landline anymore over there. So in my thing, I think I had mentioned that my dad had been mayor of our small little town. So they called like the city council or something, and like they had to find me. And when they found me and I answered the phone, I was like, this is Jenna. And they were like, oh my God. I think it was Rosalind was her name or something. And they said, oh my God, we got her. They started yelling, we got her. And when we won the People's Choice that year, Mark Burnett hugged me and kissed me. And he whispered in my ear, you were the very first person ever cast for Survivor.
Well,
Oh
Jenna,
my gosh.
I was the face and the name that they put up before they were just like, she's going to be on. That's it. And
that's freaking amazing. That's
Oh.
so cool, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
And you know, it's funny. The same thing happened for 50. Jeff said I was the very first person that he was like, that's it.
Without
Jenna
question.
Lewis.
I mean,
Okay, nobody
but
can say that,
I've
Jenna.
never been showed on the show to have any sort of personality. So, or at least
Are you
my
joking?
personality. No,
Okay.
I don't think that I've come across as like how I truly am, because I can be pretty snarky. I don't know if you saw the pre-press interviews for 50, but that's probably closer to like my average. Like me comparing Kristen and Vicky to Chucky. Like it's like that's what goes through my head. So I just spit it out. Maybe I shouldn't, but yeah, that snarky sort of stuff is exactly what's going on in my head.
I love it. I mean, it's great.
That's probably why you got cast. I don't know why they don't show it as much, but I remember watching something. It was like a special that I was obsessed. I tried out since like season 3, I think, like for 11 auditions before I finally got called. And so I did a lot of homework. And one of the things I did was I watched that video that was made where they had a part of your audition video and you like in your interview talking about having a duality. And I just remember thinking, Leslie, you need to have a duality. Like that's a really good piece of advice. And the way that you talked about it. And I was like, I just remember being like, thank you, Jenna, for that, because it helps. I mean, you really do have to have two kind of personalities out there, the one for the camera and the one for the people. And
that's really funny is I said something very similar in mine, and I didn't realize that was a thing. I said, because I was in my flight attendant uniform and I was like, you see the good, nice guy side, but I was getting ready to go to a Panic at the Disco concert. And so I changed into like skinny jeans and a deep V. And I said, but there's a second side of me that you don't understand. And so, yeah, maybe that is good advice to give all the people who always ask how to get cast on Survivor.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I talked about, how I had to be a single mother, and then I'm also a 22-year-old at the time. I'm like, I want to go out and I want to have fun. And I'm two different people. I feel like I'm always two different people all the time. I think we all have like the version of ourselves that we have to put forward, right? Because we're professionals and we have to be nice and polite to everyone in a civil society. And then you have the inner monologue and the terrible things that you're thinking and terrible things that you've done. And like, I think there's two people in everyone.
I agree.
Crazy
and it's okay to bring that out when you're auditioning for
Yes.
Survivor. You don't have to be consistent. I think
No.
I think consistency will blow it for you. You kind of have to have duality in order to be able to succeed.
100%. You look at someone like Rick Devens from this season and his prior season, and Rick Devens is known as like this super positive guy, right? And I'm looking at the first time he played, I'm like, really? He was that positive? I did not think he was that positive. I thought he was very much of the dual personality of the,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I miss my kids, I miss dad. And then it'd be like, haha, at first I just want 3 immunities. You can't get me out no matter what you do. Like, and then this time he's the same thing, like a sweet little dad. I remember him sitting and listening to Ozzy on the hammock about Ozzy's dad. And he was genuinely very there and very present and very sincere. And then you've got this Rick that comes to tribal council and he's like, F this, I'm going to blow up the whole game. And, you know, he flips the coin. And so, I mean, I think there's that duality that you have to have for Survivor, because you have to hide a little bit of your crazy to all of the other contestants, but you can let it out, you know, when you need to.
Yeah, that's so good. All right, so you finally you get selected to go on the show. You show up. You guys don't even know if this thing's gonna be picked up. Tell me, like, what was going through your mind when you first got on that island as a 22-year-old woman surrounded by these strangers?
The first thing I was thinking was physical. Like I compared myself physically to how I'd be able to handle the challenges. I was most worried at first, not about the game portion. I was really worried about how we would build the shelter and how we would survive. Because the first night we laid down, nobody was actually sleeping, but we laid down and rats just started to crawl all over us. And so to go from like Maine, you know, very, I talked about being outdoors, but you're not covered in rats and snakes. So there were the black lipped sea crates, and there's no anti-venom. And that's all you hear. There's no anti-venom. Don't step on them. And you get up in the moonlight, all you see down the beach is all these writhing bodies of snakes
Oh
that are
my
coming
gosh.
up to get the rats. And the rats are crawling all over you. And you sit there. I remember sitting there and I was like, either I can be freaked out because Colleen started like, oh my God, they're in my hair. And I remember I was trying to wait. So I put up 2 sticks and I was trying to punt kick the rats through them like football. And I was like, okay, so this is how I have to be. Like, none of that can bother me. But I was more concerned with the physical aspects, I believe. And I think that's a very different change with how 50, like going out there, how everybody handled 50. 50, they were like, okay, we put something over our heads and now we're going to lay in the dirt. And I was like, what? What? Why are you sleeping in the dirt? Like, we have time. I remember I was the
Experience.
last, yeah, well, some of them. The newbies, like, I guess they just don't do that. They just sleep on the dirt. I was like, okay. Well, I mean, the bamboo is not that most comfortable, but still
No,
just sleeping in
but
the
at least
dirt.
it keeps you off the dirt. Yeah.
Yes.
And the
They
sand
did-
fleas. Ugh.
Oh, I know. Yes. People don't understand the sand freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
Whew. So
Okay,
you were more
that's-
concerned about like how you guys were actually going to survive. So did you like did you feel like you knew what you were doing? Were you afraid to act like you did? Like, because I'm just trying to figure out how you guys were even figuring out how to do this.
Because you
Was
guys
it-
wrote the book
You
basically
wrote the book
for
on
all
it.
of us.
It became after like you get through making a shelter and you get past that first challenge, which we did win. So I think the other thing is if you win the first challenge, you get a lot of like sense of relief. You don't feel the need to start putting an expiration date on all of your fellow tribe mates right
Yes.
away. Because I played on all of them. I played on that one where I won the first one. All Stars, I lost the first one, and 50, I lost the first one. And those two feel like you're scrambling from like the second
From
you
the
get there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
from
a
the
good
get-go.
point.
And you feel like you never got to know anybody. So you don't have like a built up knowledge of why you should vote someone out. Whereas like on the very first one, everyone was getting annoyed with BB when he was washing his clothes in our pot. And like those, we were all kind of like, he's bossing us around a lot. And there were like people that were going off and like Greg was helping, but then he and Colleen would just take off, and Ramona never lifted a finger, God love her. And and so you're starting to put in this like expiration stamp on each person, like, okay, they're going next, and maybe it switches it up, but everybody kind of knew it was BB and then Ramona. And then I think it was kind of like a fair game, and us girls kind of decided on Joel, and I think we knew we were getting closer to a merge, so we were like, get rid of the physical threat. But that's what we were thinking.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're already thinking that. That's
Yes.
amazing. I
That
don't
really
know.
is.
I was thinking to myself, like, how do they know? And like, I thought to myself, I probably would have been stupid like Sean, like just alphabetical order. You know what I mean? We've had
Just
him on
come
the
up with your
show.
own system.
Yeah, we had him on the show and it made sense why he did it after he told me and explained. But like, I would have probably been like, I don't know how to do this. How do you decide? You
Sean
know, I
acts
feel
like it was like his grand plan. Believe
it
me.
probably wasn't. He
No,
had years to
no.
come up with that.
I can 1,000 times tell you it was not, because he sat there like stunned. He was stunned. I go, it's me. And he was like, no, it's not you tonight. You should have seen his face, because then he knew he wasn't in on any of it. And we were trying to tell him like,
You were
the
just using
reason-
his vote.
Yes,
Yep.
we told him that. And he was just, so you should have seen his face, because then he knew he was going to go. He is not in on the people that are voting correctly. So he did not have a rhyme and reason. He was trying to be everybody's friend. And we were like,
But that's the
Yeah.
first and last time anybody ever did anything like that. And
That's true.
it's because we all watched and went, oh yeah, that's a bad idea. But like, I
Imagine if
probably
somebody
would have
did
done
that
it.
now. Like if somebody were to do that now, it wouldn't fly. Like
No,
no,
no.
like I don't. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine if someone went out there and was like, "I'm going to go alphabetical order." Okay, well then you're the first one to get out. Sorry, the
Right.
end.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
some
just
guy
not gonna.
named
That's not
Zachary
gonna
is like, I'm gonna be the alphabetical order. You're like, let's Uno reverse card, Zachary. Yeah.
for real.
I
Wow.
love it. That's so funny.
So, okay, this is where the Time Magazine question comes up for me. So, I think it was Joel who said, like, you guys had come home and it was already out. What was that like?
No, it wasn't out. It wasn't out. Because it was like the second episode or something like that. Because I think it came out in June of that year, and it came out
Okay.
like the week I think that was my daughter's birthday. So no, that was like three weeks in. So I know
Okay.
for sure because I was in New York City and walking down the street back when they had all the magazines in these little kiosks, and they just had strips of the Time magazine with me on it. And I just remember being like, oh my God. So it wasn't out yet. And I have it up on my wall. I think it was June 20th of 2000. And we got home in April, and the first show aired May 31st. But they had like extra TV and everything like that was already airing when we got home because they had started editing it out there. So we did come home to like people going, oh my God, you're already all over like all these news sites. And we were like,
Oh my gosh.
what? Yeah.
So weird.
And
Did they
you,
prepare you for this? I'm just curious, psychologically. Did they have
I don't
any
think they had any
prep at
idea
that
that it was
point?
going to be this big.
No, they didn't.
Wow.
They didn't.
Wow. That's
And
hard.
they had no support like they do now, which I think is great. Like going
Yeah,
through 50,
100%.
seeing how much support they give you is remarkable. Like
Yeah.
it's funny because even then I'm like, I don't want to use any of that support. I want to go cry and eat Ben and Jerry's, and I don't want to do this the healthy way, Survivor. Let me just do it my way.
I'm not that
Um,
healthy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be unhealthy and eat this cupcake and hate everyone. Just give me a freaking minute. But yeah, they do offer a lot of support then now, but then nothing. Crickets. Like you just were thrown to the wolves and
Literally.
Oh my gosh.
you were, yeah. And I remember being like, I went to a concert in San Fran and I was seeing live, dolphins cry, like, you know. So I'm sitting there with my roommate friend and you start to see, I could always tell when somebody recognized me. It started like a ripple and everybody's head starts turning.
Oh,
And it feels
no.
like a horror movie. Honestly, it's like, oh God. And then you look up and it's the same thing. And then they start coming to you to ask questions and get autographs. And they
Oh
had
my
to pull
gosh.
security had to come and pull me out because I was just literally getting smothered. And then I had to go and watch it backstage, which was so tough.
I hate when that happens. God.
I mean,
Just kidding. It never happened to
that's
me.
a crazy story though. Like that's really interesting because
Yeah.
I mean, when our season was on, it was still, I mean, we still had a lot of viewers,
Yeah.
but nothing compared to season one. Like I remember the hype. I remember
Mhm.
how crazy it was.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine without
Mm-mm.
any support, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go grocery shopping without being
No.
stopped.
No. Yeah. My
Wow.
kids at their Montessori school, my daughters were 4, you know, as it aired, and they were in Montessori, and the parents recognized my kids and they would wait when I'd pick up my kids and like wait there and like then harass me. And I was like, I can't even go to my kids' school. And they started asking my kids if they knew who won, and they're 4 years old. Like it
Uh-huh.
was absolutely insane. And we were doing every TV show. We were everywhere. Like
Yeah,
I
you
had
were.
the day of the reunion show that we did, I took people straight over to VH1 and I hosted the VH1 program. I ended up hosting like 4 shows for them and MTV, and like it was just every single show, the Rosie O'Donnell show, everything.
And weren't you in like Eminem's music video?
Yeah, I
Yes.
was. And I'm a huge Eminem fan, and I have a great behind the scenes story about that. This is like what a punk I am, and I have no idea why I do this crap. I really don't. In the moment, I'm sure I thought it was cool, but Eminem was like kind of keeping his distance, and we were talking to Eminem's double, Lindsay Richter from season 3, and we were talking to Eminem's double and kind of flirting because he's kind of cute, and we're at the craft service table, and then Eminem's attorney comes over and was like, "Hey, M's wondering why you're not talking to him," and I'm like, well, you know, because we're nervous. It's Eminem. We don't want to bug him. So then he brings him over, and we're like talking to Eminem at the craft table with Dr. Dre. And I remember, I know.
Crazy.
And so Dr. Dre and Eminem were just chatting with us, and I remember Eminem says something, and this is not verbatim, but the other part that I'll tell you is, Eminem like nudges Dre and was like, "Which one would you take?" And Lindsay's like had been talking about how much she loved him. Oh my god! And I am, but I didn't say anything. And Dre's like, "So I'll take the quieter one. I bet she's crazy." I was like, "Well, yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Dre nailed it, man. That guy has
Wait,
radar."
but he didn't actually nail it, right?
He did not nail it.
Okay, good. I
Um,
just want to make sure we want to make that clear.
Yeah, I make it clear. But the punk thing that I did, like that's funny, but the punk thing, so I had great pictures with Dr. Dre and Eminem. But then later when we were shooting our scene, we were doing it over this like kids pool that's like maybe chest high. Because we're supposed to be on like this log that's a piece of crap. We didn't know that, by the way, but we're supposed to be balancing on this log. And Lindsay and I were supposed to fall in, leaving him. Well, the first time that we did it, like we had to do a second take, so they had to dry our hair. And Eminem was freaked out about going out over the pool. He couldn't swim. He did
Really?
not want to be. He did not want to be near the water. It was so weird. Not like we're not in like the ocean. He was like did not want to get near the water, and he did not like standing on the thing and being between the two of us. So after this, I know, and he must have sensed that I was the little punk because like I go the second time we get in and they're like, "That's a wrap, good job," and I lean up to him and I'm like, "Oh, come on, give me a hug," like, "Oh, I'm all wet," and he's like looks at me and then he's like, "Okay," so he leans down and I pull him into the water,
Oh my
and
gosh.
when I did, his bodyguards around the pool were like unholstering weapons.
Oh,
I was like,
Jenna.
I
Do
know. And I
what?
was like, oh my God. I was like, why are you such a baby? So I have a picture with Eminem and he's soaking wet. Like
He was okay,
Wow.
right? He wasn't
oh
mad at
yeah,
you.
he was fine. Oh yeah, I'm sure he was mad at me. I think he said something like, I don't know whether to beat the shit out of you or F the shit out of you.
Oh, that's lovely.
You know what?
I
This
know.
is so
Yeah, and I was like, well, I
That's
really only
crazy.
give you one choice. But like
my-
I have my picture with Eminem is like him soaking wet, standing beside me, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
threw him in the pool.
I love that. What a fun
That's
story.
crazy.
Who gets to do that? Like, I'm sitting here listening to go, so I'm sitting there talking with Dr. Dre and Eminem, and I'm like, he's just saying it like it just happens,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you
I
had
ran
love it.
into
so many
Dr. Dre
fun
a couple more times around LA. I'm sorry, what?
You had so many fun opportunities when you were going through this. That's so cool.
I love
Yeah.
it. I think it's great. I mean, because I was a super fan, so I would look for all of this stuff. You know, I remember being like, oh my gosh, this is Jenna and Lindsay, and that was pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm like the cover of TV Guide, and I mean, you are everything, everywhere.
Entertainment Weekly. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I did a little thing before Survivor 50 aired where I went into my storage facility where I had two huge tubs of everything that I had ever been in. And it is not just like TV Guide, it is every like In Style magazine, like remember Us Weekly and People, and like every single one had for weeks and weeks and weeks in a row had all these different articles. Like the Inquirer had one that I was like trying to steal Sandra Bullock's man, and I had gone to a concert and seen him, and I was like, oh, he's cute, because I was doing a radio thing the next morning, and they were like, he's taking Sandra Bullock. I was like, what? I didn't say I was gonna date. And then it was like,
Yeah.
Jenna Lewis trying to steal her man.
Oh,
So it was
my.
like, you were on everything all the time. It's pretty nuts.
Did you like, when did that ease up? How long did that take?
I would say it really didn't, because by the time it started to wane for me and more people were, as 3 and 4 came out, as that started to wane, I was cast on All Stars.
So then it reamped. Yeah.
So that it reamped it back up, because this is the very first time they're bringing people back.
That was so cool.
So then, it just restarted, not quite to the insane level that it was, but it was pretty huge.
Yeah. Well, how
So-
was playing All-Star different from the first
Yeah,
season?
that's what
Sorry,
I was
Todd.
gonna say.
Oh,
Well, I was gonna say, like, you finished Borneo, there's several seasons in between, and then All Stars happens. Like, was the process for casting more like competitive? Was it pretty much the same for you?
It felt competitive. They didn't tell you right away that you were on. But when I found out, I wasn't really surprised. I think they too felt like they really hadn't gotten the full villain in me. So once I found out that I was going, it's funny, Rob has this in his book. Rob and I, because we had all hung out. That's the other thing that I wanted to chat about that will relate to Survivor 50. But we were all hanging out. We were going to all of these celebrity events like all the time, being flown all over the country to go to these great big celebrity events where we're hanging out, we're drinking, people are, mixing and matching of who's hooking up. And like, so it was just an era. But now I see that those relationships played so much into Survivor 8 and All Stars, and
Yeah.
it benefited me a lot. It benefited me a lot. I knew them all. I'd hung out a ton with Rob Sesternino. Ethan and I had just done Eco Challenge, which if you don't know what that is, it's the hardest race in the world.
Yes, I remember.
It's incredibly difficult. So we had been teammates and we were very close, and he ends up on my tribe. But I had all these really great relationships with Jenna Maraska, with Rob Sesternino, with Colby. And Jerry, same with Jerry. I think I had just done a thing with Jerry like the weekend before we left, and we didn't tell each other that we were on, but we were kind of like, hey, we're good friends, right? So I see how much this benefited me on All Stars. It absolutely did. And then cut to season 50, where it's been 22 years since I saw anyone. And no matter how they edit it and no matter what they say, all of those pre-relationships, whether
Oh.
pre-gaming
I have no doubt.
was a
Without
part,
question.
but all of these people that have been going to every Survivor event for the last even 5 years, or even just did the press for 48, like they're going to events where other survivors are there, and they'd all like met each other, hung out. They all had each other on each other's Instagrams, and I had 0 people. I had no connections.
Really? So how did
Yeah.
that happen? I guess you just at some point just said I'm done, or like
I just didn't need to be in the Survivor
Yeah.
world. I still
Right.
watched. I picked up different seasons and I'd watch, like obviously watched Winners at War when I knew Ethan was going to be on. I actually, for Winners at War, I don't think they had the idea of what it was going to be until like the very last second, because
Yes.
I had gotten the call and was like, got a whole packet. They had me get my shots. They're like, you're leaving in a month. And I'm like, okay. All right. I had all my shots done and was all ready. And then they're like, I think we're going to go in a different direction. I'm like, all right. Thank
Yes,
you. Well, now I
it
won't get
was going to be
diphtheria.
Legends. It was going to be
Yes.
Survivor Legends. And I know this because that's when they had asked me, and they said, you're a legend. And they put it in this.
Yeah.
And then they had, and they had asked Coach, and they had asked Russell Hantz, and they were both calling me. Like, these people were calling me, and I was like, that's as far as I got, guys.
Yeah.
And then they turned it into Winners at War.
Yeah. So you were called too. So I was like, you're going. It wasn't a thing like 50 where it was like, yeah, we're going to interview. We're starting the process. It was like, Jenna, are you ready? We've got your stuff. Go get your shots. Everybody had to sign the paperwork, and I was like ready to leave. And then they went in a different direction. But wow, I would have been a legend. That probably would have worked out better for me. Survivor 50.
So what do you think went wrong on 50? Did you just like go in playing too hard, too quick?
No, we knew.
Right.
See, that's what they have to tell you a story. This is the other
Yeah.
thing. People aren't watching what happens out there on the island. They're watching a storyline that the editors put together with thousands of hours of footage.
Yeah.
So remember, it's entertainment. So they're not trying to show the people what happened. They're trying to show the people a very good story of entertainment value, the highest version of their entertainment, to create a storyline. Was I aggressive? Hell yes. We felt like we were on the bottom from the second we landed. Savannah and I absolutely knew. Like immediately, Christian and Emily, who were admittedly very good friends before they ever were on the island, and Christian and Rick said they never met. That's BS. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Like, and they go walking off into the jungle, and I was like, are we gonna let Revenge of the Nerds just go out and look for idols? Like, what are we doing? It felt like immediately those three, and Ozzy and Sari, were just attached at the hip. And so Savannah and I were like, where are we gonna fit? And we were like, oh gosh, like when Ozzy came back, because he was gone for a day, we had been chatting with Sari, and I was like, is there something there? I was like, but I'm worried that she's going to lose challenges. So right. What you guys did not see on the first challenge was her taking, it was the longest. Jess said it was the longest he's ever seen somebody take. Like, took her 40-30 minutes to throw this ball. Other people, it took 2 minutes. So we sat there just forever.
Wow.
This is not, it did not edit it to show this, because they don't want to do anything that detracts from Sari. But it was that bad. That's why in Joe and Savannah's interviews, they're like, yeah, no, Sari did that. Like, why are we voting off Jenna? But it was because they already had this little group. They'd already contacted each other. Like Suri had reached out to everyone. You heard Coach in his exit press. He was like, Suri was interested in his son's music and like reaching out to people. And I had done zero of that and knew nobody. So I had zero of that sort of rapport. They didn't even know me. Then none of them had me on Instagram. So they had no idea who I was. And it's
man.
very easy to pick up somebody that you have no idea who I know because I did this on Survivor All Stars.
It is
Like,
crazy to think. Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
100% right. These relationships, I mean, All Stars right there proves
yes,
perfectly.
correct.
And now, I mean, I feel the very same about New Era is like they are very much New Era and they
Yeah.
like enjoy being New Era and they're not afraid to let you know that, you know?
No, they're
So,
not.
yeah.
And the other thing about 50 that I immediately was like, why would they do this to me? The only person that I knew from anyone who had ever talked to was Colby. And they put Colby and Stephanie together, right? They
Right.
played in Men on Alliances twice. Like,
Yeah.
what? They put alliances, not even just like on the same season. Colby were on a season. I never stepped foot on an island with him ever. Like, I never saw him out there. So the only person that I knew was Colby, and I'm not put with him, but Ozzy's put with Sari, who he's known forever and played with like 3 times. Stephanie's put with him, Coach is put with people he knows, and I was the only one like left out in the breeze. It felt very much like, and I've heard from other people that production switched up 2 people at the last minute, and they said it was Tiffany and I. And I think they may have done that because in my pre-press interviews, I was like, I'm very skeptical of Sari. Like, she acts all nice, but then you watch her, she cuts everybody down. I don't know how you don't see her as like, I don't think that she's a nice player. I think she should have been a villain. She's like killing with kindness. I'm like, if you look at what she did on 50, you're like, how is any of that kind? Like, she tore into Ozzy after he leaves. She was like,
That's
you
really
don't have 2 brain
interesting.
cells to rub together. She's like, I wouldn't have done with that effing idiot or something. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
people thought I was harsh. And then it
Yeah.
felt like she attacked Joe, like with the jotation. And I was
Mm.
like, oof. Yeah. So I did not think that she would be a great ally. And I knew that she would be a physical detriment. Like, she actively loses challenges for people. And she did. The first 2 challenges on our tribe, she actively lost.
That's so
So,
sad.
I
okay,
know.
my question is though, is like, who would you have replaced if you could choose one person to have replaced Suri to play with you? And do you think it would have changed the whole game?
On my tribe, yeah.
Yes.
If I had had like a Stephanie, yes. I think an
Mm.
old school woman that we look up to, we have similar like being physically strong values, 100%. I think we would have been a strong duo. I would have felt like a natural rapport with that sort of old school that rewards merit and being strong and producing in challenges. Like, I think that would have been a very strong ally for me out the gate.
Yeah. I think you're right. You just touched on something. Just being strong in the challenges and being good around camp was such a big deal in old
Yep.
school.
Oh,
Like, that
absolutely.
was I
Yep.
mean, literally, I just remember because I was super sick when I was out there and I could barely do anything. But I was like, if you don't get up and do something, they're going to vote you out. Like, you
Yeah.
had to be moving, even if you
Yeah.
weren't doing anything. If you were laying down at all, like John
Yeah.
Robert, they would literally the target. And so I was like, I just have to keep moving. I don't really have to do anything, but I have to,
You
I
have to at
can't
least
just
try.
you have
That's
to
Yeah.
try, which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
And
it's just not like that anymore. I feel like that's
no,
not rewarded at all. Or
no, it's actually they talk about it openly. Like, you heard
Yeah.
Colby, like, Rizzo doesn't move, Angelina doesn't move. You call them lazy, but I don't know if they're lazy. But yeah,
they're
it's
reserving their energy for when the
that's
charged. I mean, that's
that's what
brilliant.
Savannah said. She's like, oh, I actively was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm pulling huge things of bamboo out. Like, I'm the only last person like working and trying to start a fire, and like these guys have been chit chatting for hours. And yeah, the game has changed very, very much. And I don't think that it's not even that they don't reward merit. I don't even think that they care. And it's so they talk about it being faster. And I'm like, I don't know if it's faster or just nobody has any sense of loyalty. Like, now everybody knows that it's loyalty to a point. Like, that didn't used to be the thing.
No.
It
Mm-mm.
used to be like, you could be loyal, play a loyal game. And then it
Yes.
was, if you both were at the end, you had to talk about how your game was better. But it wasn't like I'm going to wait until I have to cut you. And now you see every single person who has any sort of agreement or alliance, it's like, but I can't wait until the time I get to make my move that I can play to the jury. It's not faster. It's just, and they call it more fluid, but I think it's just everybody knows they're out to cut each other from the get-go. So when you have everybody trying to slice each other's Achilles tendon, it's just like who makes the first move. It's very strange to me how they play
Interesting.
now. And I think
Yeah.
it rewards all the wrong elements in humankind, which is very
Mhm.
tricky because on the first like 10 seasons, you watch it and I feel like even Richard Hatch that they painted as like this villain, I don't think he was a villain. I love Richard, but he knew what the stakes were in the game, but he also created his core group and was solid all the way
Yeah.
to the end. All
Yes.
the way to
Smart.
the end.
He was so smart the way
I
he played
loved
that game.
hearing you talk about this because like
Yeah.
it's a lot of these points I've noticed, but I haven't like really deeply dissected it. And so hearing you talk about this is really fascinating, actually. So okay, would you play again?
Of course. Do you ever
Yeah,
say
I
no to
mean,
Survivor? You
you
never say no.
cannot. No.
So my follow-up though to this though, since I got a yes from you, after playing 50 and seeing the way that they've played, could you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to.
You have to adapt. Yeah.
You have to adapt, but and I knew that they kind of played like that, but I really didn't think it would be that I would be with absolutely nobody I'd ever known, and everybody else would have these pre-relationships. I mean, like I said, we felt it from the beginning that we were on the bottom. And sometimes you might be able to make that work for you, but there were a lot of people on 50 who didn't go to tribal council till like day 12. Like,
Yeah.
what a luxury in a 26-day game to spend half
halfway
of
through
it
the game.
never go. Yeah, you get to create relationships. I had like it, 2 days, and it was
Yeah.
and because I'm the odd man out, it's very easy. And you saw it. You saw me go, Savannah go. And if we'd have gone to tribal council, who would have gone? Joe. Even though he was strong, like they were already putting the bullet on his back. And yeah, he would have gone. So it was us three. We knew it from the second we landed.
Which is so frustrating. It was frustrating for me. I was so angry. I will say though, like, at least your tribal council where you were voted out, it was like beautiful. It was
Yes.
poetic. It was,
Yes.
it was like really beautiful.
They
I just
gave you
wanna
a
have to say,
story. It wasn't
did.
like you were a number that was just gone, and you know what I mean? Like at least they showed you, and they showed
Yeah.
that you were there to play. Like for
And they
me,
did
I
show that.
respect that. I
Yep.
respect that they showed that you were there to play because you were.
Yeah.
And I've recently been watching Canadian Traders. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet,
Mm-mm.
but it's the cutest thing ever because Canadians are so sweet and they're like so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm voting you out. That I'm voting you out. Anyway, I just realized like in one of them when the trader wins, I won't say which season, the trader actually wins. I wanted to be so happy for him, but I was like, we suck. Human beings suck. Because the girl who lost was like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, reality TV has just evolved into this cruelty.
It's
that is-
cruel. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think I saw it because I saw how sweet these people were, but they were
Yeah.
turning into monsters as the time went on. And they weren't sorry anymore. Although
It's
he
the
did say,
Stanford experience.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like it's the Stanford
Crazy.
experiment. It's like you put people out there, you're supposed to bond together, but eventually it does become Lord of the Flies and you start
Yeah.
to bring out the worst in everyone. And now everyone knows it. So they're all ready to cut each other. And I'm like, okay, it feels like we are rewarding the worst people on the planet in almost every reality TV show.
and it's true. But the hard part for me is that we all go in there going, well, it's a game. It's just a game. But when you're that close to money, that kind of
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
and somebody, betrays you for that, it feels very personal. And especially when you've been playing your guts out trying to win. I don't know.
But also, like the stakes aren't just the money. Like when you put yourself out there in
Yeah.
today's day and age, you're putting your entire life on the line, honestly, because of how all the trolling online and everything
Yes.
even the stuff I say on your podcast right now, like when it gets
Yeah.
out there, there's going to be people going, oh, she's still bagging on this person or she's still making her excuses or blah, blah, blah. You put yourself so much on the line that it's not just like a game of sorry where there's no stakes in the game and somebody walks away going, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's $1 million, which changes lives, not as much as it did in 2000. But it changes lives. And also you're already putting your entire life on the line, your livelihood.
Yeah, no,
And
you're
you're being
completely right.
judged, you're being held to a different standard.
Harshly.
You are
Harshly judged.
automatically one-dimensional and you are judged by that dimension, even though we all have multifaceted lives. And that is the hardest thing to explain to people. If you could tell somebody who's been auditioning for Survivor and is like determined, or any reality show for that matter, if you could give them any advice going in, what would it be, Jenna?
I think you have to be calloused. Like you have to write off what everyone else thinks about you, except for the people that matter in your life pre-survivor. Like the one thing about 50 was I should have been like devastated, right? 22 years to wait, first off, worst case scenario. And I was like, yeah, my life is so good. Like I can't even imagine like the difference of where I played when I was a single mom and I needed that money. I needed everything that came from it to raise these two kids. And now I'm like very cush, you know, I'm very, very comfortable. I have like a loving husband, like everything feels so calm and perfect to me. And maybe that's why I wasn't like playing at my top game. Do you play harder when your back's against the wall or when you have
We have talked
stability?
about this. We've talked
Yeah.
about this with PG because when she went back the second time, she goes, I just didn't want it as bad. And
Yeah.
it showed.
I
And
wanted
it's
it.
well, it's not about wanting. I think there's something else though, that when you have something to prove, when you're like your life doesn't have a lot to go back to and
Yeah.
you're trying to create it like you were when you were 22. You know what I
So
mean?
Yeah.
this goes to that point of you said, what would I tell survivors? Well,
Yeah.
if you're going out there to do that, Leslie, you got to be ready to lose. Because in my
Yes.
instance, 23 people walked away a loser, whether you were the first one out or whether you were the 23rd one out.
That's
You
true.
lost and
Mhm.
you put your entire life on the line, and people are going to judge you. And the longer that you're on the show, you probably even get more heat because there's more things that you've said to piss people off. So
Yeah.
you have to be willing to not just do anything like you said, but give
Mhm.
up your life. You have to be ready to have your life pretty much ruined because
Yeah.
people always find negative. You'll get the positive too, but you get a
People
ton of negative.
love to point out the negative. People love being rude online. They love it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
horrible.
terrible.
And it's so much worse now than when we were on. I mean,
Oh
like,
yeah.
because ours was like 2007 before it was
We
this
were
big of
still
a deal.
MySpace era. Like, we
Yeah.
Facebook wasn't the thing. Instagram wasn't even made. So yeah, it's the same. Like, I couldn't even imagine now. All the hate and all that. I mean, people love to be rude. So you're right though. You have to have that thick skin. You have to not take in all of that negative because it is very easy to go in that rabbit hole. I think we've
Yeah.
all done it. Like,
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh.
don't go on a show like this to try to find out who you are. Don't do that. Oh my God, please.
No.
I hear people say that. I just want to know who I am. I'm like, oh,
This
please
is not
figure
the
that
game.
out before you put that application in, please.
Yes.
This is a big deal.
Agreed. And you have to have a really good base of people that you love
Mhm.
and you trust their opinion of you. So that when you come home and they're like, don't worry about it, like they'll support you through this. You have to shout out the rest of the world. Who cares what some guy in Iowa cares about how I look in my bikini or how I played the game or who I liked in the game? He has absolutely no influence on my life. So I just
Mhm.
need to be like, shut up, Craig. Like
It's
I'm
true.
not, there was definitely a Craig. But I just have to be like, I don't care what the hell you think because my life's pretty perfect. Yours must suck if you're like trolling reality TV people online. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Craig. I feel bad for you, but I'm going to go, in my $1 million house and just cry a little.
And that is what I always say to people too, is I say the ones who go online and tear other people down are doing something to try to make themselves feel better about who
Mhm.
they are because they are miserable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so
My
that's
You know
why
what
husband's
I
blown
think?
away.
It's for sure. And the dichotomy is the people that get online and they go, oh my God, they're such attention whores. They all do this so that they can just be in the limelight and blah, blah, blah. They just want people to like them or find what they say interesting. And I want to write back like, why the hell are you on a public forum saying this? Because you want people to validate what you're saying. And
exactly.
you want clicks to go, oh my gosh, look, I got 1,000 hits. People think what I said was really cool. So shut the f- up.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It's
That'll
true.
preach.
It's
That'll
It's
preach.
so
absolutely
true.
true. They're doing negative because it gets clickbait and they're like, yeah, look at how cool I am and sassy and like, ugh.
I'm so funny.
Yeah,
I
it's
actually posted something this morning. I'm trying to find it because you have to hear this. It was so good. It was like a saying. Where is it? Oh yeah. I love being judged by people I never want to be like.
exactly.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Why
I
do you
wanna be
care
like
what
you
they think?
anyway? What do I
Mhm.
give a crap? So anyway, yeah, that's
Um,
great advice for people.
Yeah, no, so far this has been a great interview, and I know we're getting close to the end, but I guess it's time for me to now ask the next question. Is you've been doing a lot of stuff on books,
Yes.
and I want to know, like, obviously you're a huge reader, you're a book fan. Go into this a little bit for me because I love reading. I love books too, and the books you talk about, I love. So
Oh, good. That's good. So I've always been a reader, but I think that when my son Dan is very much like me. We're like the same person, and we get like obsessions with like either a book or like finding out about Napoleon or the Knights Templar, whatever it is. And we have to have everything in it. We have to watch every documentary. We have to read every book. So I think as he came to be like 7 or 8 and we started to get in this together, it became my entire world. Like him and I, when I would drop him off to school, we would start listening to audiobooks together. And that got me onto Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is one of my favorites. Like that was him and I getting so excited and spending this time, 15 minutes on the way to school and 15 minutes on the way home, connecting to it. So I started to think about how much books, I think it's kind of like the old school CD rack. And you go into someone's house and be like, what DVDs are their favorite? What CDs do they listen to? Like you could judge them based on that. And I think the same is said for books. Like if you don't love a book that I love, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if we can be
I don't know if I
friends.
like you. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
I
if
don't
you
know
don't
if I
like
can
The
like you.
Office. I don't know if we
Yeah.
can be friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's how I feel. But so I like sharing books. I spoke to a UC Berkeley professor who was asking me some real estate advice just 2 days ago. Hi, Christian. And he said that there's a literacy problem. Like people are getting into these great, like almost Ivy League schools, and they can't read. And he's like, the biggest predictor of how smart someone is going to be and how far they're going to go in life is if they read. So I don't care if it's Dungeon Crawler Carl, which of course, isn't Einstein. You're not reading Einstein or Proust, but they're reading and you're thinking and you're processing. You're letting your imagination go. So I think there's so much to be said for pushing literacy right now because everybody's reading things in like reels, like 40 seconds at a time. Like,
yeah.
I want to get people reading. I want to get them talking about reading. So I am building a Survivor book club. Like everyone wants to do a podcast about Survivor. I don't care about Survivor, but I am going to bring in this niche group of survivors who read. And so I've been talking to a bunch of survivors about like, we're going to do a book club and then some of the people can come online and fans and interact with us about books. It's just going to be book based and it's nothing to do with the show per se.
I
love it.
adore
love it.
this. I actually, well, and I have a question for you because like I am an ADHD girl. I think most of us are if we're on Survivor. But I do so much better when I'm listening to a book.
Yeah.
And doing something like working out or walking or doing chores or anything. I cleaned out my pantry the other day to a really good book. But like that counts, right?
Yes. No, it absolutely counts because last week I finished a book just painting a house because I always do the touch-up paint before a house comes on the market. So they're out of the house. I pop in my audiobook and I'm just painting. And sometimes when I think of something in a book, I know exactly where I was in whose house painting their wall. Like
Interesting.
And I read too. So I usually have 3 going. So right now I have a physical book going, I have an Audible book going, and I have a Kindle book going because Kindle at night so I don't disturb my husband. So I can read without keeping the lights on. And then in my car is my Audible. I do all of my chores. I wash my floors to it. I'm a big crafter. I do like my laser printing. I don't have one right near me, but I laser print like all of the tumblers that for my kids' school, like all of their tennis team and all of that. So I will listen to a book and do anything. I do a ton of my crafts to it. It counts, Leslie. It counts.
Okay, good. That's what I was hoping because I struggle with a page. When I read a paragraph, I'm like, my brain is going somewhere else while I'm reading. And I read it like 12 times, and then I finally just go, I can't do this. And so I realized my brain is so busy because of my ADHD that if I can just like focus on doing something physical while I'm listening, for some reason, I'm able to pay attention. It's insane.
It's funny because like I'm the exact opposite with my ADHD is I can read a book and focus, but if I'm listening to a book, my brain is thinking of everything else.
I love this.
I have both. It depends on my mood. If I'm very busy at work, I can't listen because I'm just thinking about work. And then I need to be fully present with a physical book. But many times if I'm not feeling super, super stressed, it's actually stress relieving to just listen to a book and do something. So I have both. It just depends on where my mind's at.
Yeah, I guess I do too. Yeah. So Jenna, this is a question about a book. Would you ever write one? Because I think you should.
I think I need to because I don't think people really understand the beginning of Survivor.
Exactly.
Like the stories of like with Eminem and Dr. Dre and like,
that would be so good.
Yeah. The
I think you
stories
should do it.
that I have are crazy.
Especially COVID era fans that are like new to Survivor, they don't understand exactly how huge it was. And I love COVID era fans because they binge watch Survivor and they know everything about
They
it.
do.
But
Yes.
they don't know the extreme level of crazy that it was.
We
That's
lived
true.
through that. Like I
Yeah.
remember that being such a big deal.
Mhm.
And I think yeah, and unless you've actually lived through it, it's hard
Yeah.
to really wrap your brain around it. So write that book, Jenna. I will be the
Okay.
first one to buy the audiobook that you're going to
Okay.
read. You have to read it
Yes.
yourself. I actually wrote a book myself recently, and
Oh,
I read it, and it was so healing. I finished as soon as I did the last word, I started bawling. It was like, this feels so good. So if you ever
oh,
want to
that's
listen to my
beautiful.
story, it's Honoring the
Yeah.
Journey, the deconstruction of Sister Christian. It just tells my story, and it
I-
talks
we
about how
have-
Survivor.
I think
Yeah.
we have a similar journey. I think we chatted a little bit
Yeah,
like,
we
for a
did.
minute about
Yeah.
this. But yeah, I was raised super, super Mormon. And it was like stepping out of that
Me
kind of
too.
mold. You were? Wait,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
He was
didn't know
Mormon.
that, Todd.
I didn't
Oh
know
my
that
gosh.
you were raised Mormon either. That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
It was like, that's why, like, when after Survivor, when I like went and moved out West Coast, I completely kind of shed Mormonism.
Oh, look
And
at this.
yeah.
All three of us.
All three of us.
That's
Well, I wasn't
weird.
Mormon. I was evangelical,
But
but
yeah,
still.
you were. But
I was
still,
more
the religious side.
fundamental evangelical, sort of like,
Yeah.
scary, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe what I believe kind of thing,
that's,
which is
I mean,
incredibly motivating.
ours was so,
so
oppressive
weird.
to women. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
awful.
so
Oh,
oppressive.
absolutely.
Well, mine
Yeah.
was too,
Because
100%.
Jenna, Leslie, and I both live in Utah, so Leslie knows the Mormon culture.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
You
surrounded.
know, like
I have a lot of clients that are leaving the Mormon faith. I do coaching for
Yes.
people who are leaving their religion. It's tough.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a
It
really
is tough.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Especially
sometimes
since
you just
Mormons.
need to process all of it
Yes.
and not feel like you're crazy. You know what I mean?
And it depends, because I don't know if they still do this, but back then, like, if you broke off with the faith, like, you weren't going to go to Celestial Kingdom with your family.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of just, I'm the black sheep. I'm absolutely the black sheep. Like, it's why I live an entire country away. I love my family, but I can't be in the religion. And if I'm not, I don't think we share any of the same values.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really hard.
very it's eye-opening when you realize you have permission to question. It's
Oh my
okay.
gosh. I did
You
that
know
at
what I mean?
16. I told my
Ugh.
parents, like, that's it. I'm starting
wish
to
I
have
had.
sex, and I'm going to put myself on birth control. And I love this for you. And I'll still go to church, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe in any of it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I'm trying to find my way. I don't know. Every week it's different how I think I see things. And I love
I
that.
think you
I don't
are
think you have
changed
to
a
be
lot, Leslie.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You've
God.
definitely changed.
1,000%. And I say cuss words now, and it's fun. I used to never.
I say them
I
all
used
the
to never.
time.
I remember on Survivor, I was thrown off a boat and I said, shit. And I came up and was just bawling. And
'Cause she
Courtney's
thought
like,
it was
what's
going to be on
wrong?
TV.
And I was like, they're going to show it on TV and I'm going to be in so much trouble. I'm going to lose my job as a Christian radio host. And I was like, so afraid to cuss. And now it's like, I'm like a middle school kid who just learned he could cuss. You know what I mean? Like it's embarrassing. I have
Yeah.
a potty mouth. It's embarrassing, but it's fun.
Oh,
It's
no.
cathartic. So whatever.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
cathartic.
I'm
To like,
free.
yeah, I was gonna say, to feel like you can do things on your own terms. It's very cathartic when you were raised in an oppressive religion.
Yeah.
Well, and when you do things that kind of irritate people who are still in that mindset, you kind of like push them away. It's like, oh, that's an
Yeah.
easy way. Or you get a tattoo. You know what I mean? You get a tattoo and you
Still
do
don't have
things
one.
that piss them off. And it's not that I want to make them mad, but I'm like,
It-
if you are going to judge me for things that I'm doing, I don't need that energy in my life anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's been
My
fun.
favorite is when they come up to you and they're like, do you believe in God, or is God in your life? And it's like, listen, I don't need the spiel right now. Like, we get it. We get it.
I don't need any more white men telling me what to do.
Please.
Oh, I need to
stop.
believe. Yes. Yes.
I love, like, when I was a kid and like they had all these pictures of Jesus on the wall, and like, why did they make Jesus so hot? Like,
Oh, and blue eyes and like
yeah, why does he
gorgeous.
have that scruff that is so
I
in
know.
right now with the grunge crowd? Like, why? Couldn't they have made him ugly? Like, I'm pretty sure Jesus like took that path because the women might not have wanted him. Maybe he was not a good looking fella, but they like put
He
him on the
wasn't.
wall and were like, don't think nasty thoughts. But look at this guy, like the scruffy
Right.
beard, the blue eyes, and the long hair. Like, for a long time, I like anybody that looked like a lumberjack or Jesus was right up my alley.
There was
It's true.
literally a
It's so
scripture
true.
in Isaiah 53 that talks about how undesirably looking he was.
Yeah,
and
go
like,
with that.
so it's true. He wasn't like something that people went, ooh.
Yeah.
He was just another guy. He was an
I know.
average guy.
They put
And
it
he
in
was
this
not
rose.
hard with blue eyes. He was
No,
literally
course not.
probably
He's not.
darker skinned,
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
Arab,
yeah.
kind of looking like he was beautiful, but
Yeah.
in his own human way. There we go.
Yeah. Humanic. I'm gonna use that
Humanic.
from
I
you.
just made up a
Humanic.
word.
Yeah,
I love
humanic.
that.
I love it.
Well, Jenna, what are you doing now? What are your real estate? Is that right?
I'm real estate, super successful business in NorCal. I do a lot in Davis, California, which is like near UC Davis because I live about 10 minutes. I'm in Woodland, which is an agricultural community, a lot of farmers. My husband's family are like 3-generation farmers. And yeah, I live here with my 2 kids. Both of my girls are close. One is in Sacramento, married. They're 30 this year, and one is in law school. So she's gonna be a
Wow.
lawyer. I know, super
Amazing.
proud.
That's-
Yeah, my
you
life
guys-
could not be better.
awesome.
How in the world do you have 30-year-olds? Like I look at you and I'm like, you don't even look, you maybe look
No.
35.
Oh,
if
I
that.
did so much Botox. Yeah. Like that. In fact, like I was all worried that out on Survivor, I was like, will I even be able to like show expression? Like, can I look mad? No, I can't. I can't look mad.
Well, he does wonderful for you. I think
Oh, he
you
does.
show
So
plenty
good.
of expression. And I love that you're honest about that because a lot of people don't talk about like what they have done.
Yeah, they'll
I
just be like, "Oh,
definitely have,
thank
I
you."
definitely have
Are
Botox, but
you-
it's been
are
a
you-
while.
And I can't wait till 55. I'm giving myself that's like 6 years. I'm gonna be 49 in July. I'm gonna do like the whole lift where I look like Anne Hathaway again.
And
Like,
Hathaway, yes.
Yay.
I was
I'm
like, where
gonna-
she just got everything pulled back.
just a little bit. Like the Lindsay Lohan, Anne Hathaway, like they're gonna have perfected this at 55 when I'm like perfect for it. Like just
Nice.
a little.
I love it. Well,
And
I
it
did.
looks
I
great. Yeah, it
actually,
looks great.
I'm going to admit something I've never admitted
Okay.
in public before. I had a neck lift in
Really?
2022. It completely changed the way unbelievable. And it was only just the neck. I just had
And
it
you
lifted.
loved it.
I'm like, it was the worst thing I've ever been through in my life.
Oh,
The
really?
recovery. I was like, I'm going to die from
Wait,
getting a
like
stupid
pain?
surgery. It was just, I was so swollen and I looked so scary for like a month. And you know, they really cut you. They go all
Yeah.
the way back and like, oh, and then you've got like stitches. I look like Frankenstein. I know, but I mean, I'm so glad I did it. I mean, I just feel so much better. I've always been very, you know, I've always struggled with my neck because I had a birthmark on my, I don't know if you can still see it, but anyway, it's right there. I was born with it and it hung down. So even when I was thin, I had a neck, like a kind of turkey
Yeah.
neck from my
Mhm.
birthmark. And then as I was, you know, going through menopause and all that, it
Yeah.
just kept getting worse.
Oh.
So
Well, you
2022.
look fabulous. You look
You do.
fabulous.
You-
And I'm
and-
admitting it because I think people are like, you don't look your age. And I just want to go,
Yeah.
yeah, well, that cost me some money, but
Yeah, I don't look my age. I haven't had a lift yet, but I'm fully planning on it.
Oh,
and I
fully,
love
yeah.
about it.
no. And do not be
Not yet,
ashamed. I'm
But
not
it's
ashamed.
coming.
Yeah.
I shame no one. I don't
No,
care. Like
no way.
in the 2000s, there were at least 3 times that I went to a surgeon and was like, okay, I'm going to have my boobs done because that was the thing. Everybody had their boobs done. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I felt like that was the one thing I couldn't do because it was such a sexualized
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Whereas like my
exactly.
Botox is so that I feel really comfortable and don't
Yes.
feel
Yes.
like
Yeah.
my age, right?
Right.
So that's more to do with my psyche, but I felt like it was just for other people. So I'd go to the appointment and I'd be like, I can't do it. Like, I'm so glad I didn't, but I would never shame anyone who does anything that
Me
they want.
either.
It's your body. It's not
Exactly.
theirs. It's the same as the internet. Don't listen to them. Who cares
Right.
what other people think?
Right.
And if
exactly.
it makes you feel good about yourself, go for it.
Oh my God. If I hadn't
That's
gotten
it.
Botox, I see on All Stars that I already had furrows. I was 27. I was like, oh my God, I'd be like, I'd be a troll. Like, no, I love it.
And I like, if you want to age gracefully, I love you. That's great. I support that. Yeah.
Yes.
I just prefer to kind of, you know, work with it a little bit.
Yeah,
If you can.
I'm not gonna.
I would love some little Botox to get rid of this little line here, but it has not happened yet.
Well,
But one
you know,
day.
what a fun
whenever you
conversation.
want to, we'll be here for you, Todd. when you
Yes,
want
we
to.
will. We'll support you.
Thank you.
We'll be your go-to girls. Because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, there is something just about feeling good in your skin. And
Yes.
and it's not that you know what, if I hadn't struggled with it my whole life, literally I had to have long hair so that I could go like this. And if, you know, when I would pull it back, it's all I saw was
Yeah.
and it was, you know, faded, but when I was born, it was bright red and it hung. I was not an attractive child.
Oh,
But-
sorry.
No, No,
I
it's totally
I
fine.
have a big birthmark that is so glowing whenever I'm on Survivor. Like, it's
Oh,
just-
really?
people think I'm peeling in the show, and I'm like, no, I have like, I called it Canada, my friendly neighbor to the north when I was a kid, because it's like, it has no pigment, so it's like white. So I do like self tanner and of course makeup, but on Survivor, it's like just this great, big, huge, white glowing
Oh,
thing. If you look up any pictures of me out
Interesting.
there,
I'm
yeah,
gonna look now.
see, that's good to know. I've learned so much today. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
for
for
real.
this.
This has been a really
Been
awesome interview.
so
It's just
fun.
it's been fun.
I can't wait to see how much I'm torn apart. Just even that I talked about Suri, like the beloved Survivor. I know that
Listen,
every
I
time I
love
even
Sari, but
mention,
I know Sari
I
is a human
do.
being. She's a
Look,
human being just like we are.
I like
Well,
Suri. It was never that I didn't like Suri. It was that Suri was costing us challenges. And at the beginning, you can't lose challenges. That's it. That's
Right.
the entire thing about Suri. Suri is very nice. I enjoyed
Oh,
my
I
time
love
with
her.
her.
Yeah.
But people think that I'm like attacking her. And I'm like, no, I knew I was on the bottom. I had to stay in the game. You can't lose challenges. But
Yeah.
whenever you say anything against her, it's like,
I
the
know.
whole
I
internet.
know.
well,
I know, like,
and
you're
I
racist.
think the
I'm like,
thing is too, is like Sari is a vicious player, but
Yeah,
people
I
see
mean,
like the
is.
lovable
wouldn't wanna
Sari,
be on
but
her
she
bad
is
side.
cutthroat.
Yes.
She's
And
cutthroat.
she's like, in one of the interviews post 50, they were like, oh, what would your name be if you were like a wrestler or something like that? And she was like, kill him with kindness, Sari. And I was like on the red carpet, like, really? Really? Cutting them back, Sari. Like, I just watched you tear Joe a new one on national TV and like call I don't know, she said like effing two brain cells together or something for Ozzy. I was like, that doesn't feel that nice. That feels like something I would say, and then be like, yeah, I said
And then
that.
own it.
I would be like, did you hear that? Like, my
said
favorite
that.
thing I ever said was when I said, when Sheehan opens her mouth, I want to open mine and put a gun in it. Like, it's,
Yeah.
it's like my favorite line like I've ever said. That and
That
like
was
my
a really
Chucky
great line.
comparison with Christian.
Yeah.
Like, there's oh, and I think I called all of them. I like listed all the Marvel characters on 50, and I think I said we even have our own dime store Doctor Strange with Coach. Maybe he can Tai Chi himself into a dimension where his back doesn't hurt. And like, of course, they don't air any of that, but like, I'm so proud of it when I say it. I'm not thinking beforehand, but I'm like, hey, that came out of my mouth. It was
You're
pretty
like,
good.
this was
I'm
perfect.
kind of funny.
That's
I
good.
like that. You should do stand up, Jenna. That's great.
Oh gosh, I did stand up in LA.
No,
Yeah,
you did
and
not.
I was
That's
part
on my
of a
bucket
stand-up.
list.
I was part of a stand-up group called the Pussycat Dolls of Comedy.
That's
Yeah.
I
amazing.
love it.
I got to stand in a room and with only 4 people in the room, do my entire stand-up routine in front of Jimmy Iovine,
Oh shit.
like Universal Music, like paired with
Wow.
Dr.
Damn.
Dre with the beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
just me,
gosh.
just being
You're
funny
right.
like this and telling him my stories. I know my life, right?
I love it.
Wow.
You should be so proud of yourself, Jenna. You really should. You have made you have put your mark on
Yeah.
Survivor. I put my skid mark on Survivor, but you put your mark on
Christian put his skid mark on Survivor.
Oh, literally, yes.
He
Well, I
did.
did too, actually, but they didn't show it. I was like, I
Oh.
fully connected with Christian in that moment. I was
Yeah.
crapping myself the whole time. So like, it was so funny. I was like, I am so glad that I'm not a man. And
Yeah.
they didn't show that. Like, they were very
That's true.
kind. So
Yeah.
yeah, me and
I
Christian,
wonder if they ran it by
bonded.
Christian. I wonder if they
I
ran
was
it by him.
wondering the
Probably
same.
not.
Like, did they
Probably
ask him?
not.
Probably not.
Oh, well, that makes me feel a little bit bad, but
Yeah.
not
no,
that
it's
bad.
At
fine.
least they edited it in a way where he was able to explain it
And
Yeah.
have fun with it. He was
Yes.
funny about
instead
it.
of just be like, "Oh, look, he shit himself." It was like,
Yeah.
I'm
you know,
never going to be able to
in
go back home to
Survivor,
my
we
wife.
do this and this, and like,
Yes. He's like, my wife's going to divorce me. I remember Joe told me that after the show we were chatting. I was like, did he? He did what? And Joe was like, he came back and he said, Joe, never trust a fart. And I was thinking, oh my God, that is the story of my life. Like, I definitely am.
Yeah. It's,
Don't
I mean,
do
it's
it.
pretty
Well,
amazing.
we've all been there. You know what I
course
mean?
we
Like,
have.
come on, we have bodily function. Like, let's
Yeah.
just
Have you ever been
Especially
sick?
if you've played Survivor already once, your digestive system is screwed up. So
yeah, already.
Especially if you did it for 39 days. I know there's still that argument, which is
Yeah.
harder, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. 39's harder,
39 days.
people.
No doubt. No doubt.
No doubt. No
Well,
doubt.
thank you, my friend. You are amazing. We love you so
Yes.
much. And
Thank you.
thank you for everything that you do for the Survivor community. We all love you.
get them
The fans
literate.
love you. And the ones that
Yes.
don't love you, they don't really listen to our show. I get a lot of hate. We don't. I don't know.
Good.
We
Yeah.
have the sweethearts. I'm
Just
so
wait.
thankful
You
for our
might after
fans.
I'm on. I don't know.
Well,
I get a
no,
lot of
they
hate.
do.
Honestly, there
We'll
are
put 'em in
some people who
timeout.
are really excited for you. Like, we're not
Yes.
just saying that to make you feel good.
No,
We're
no.
dead serious.
Dead
People
serious.
are super excited
And
about it.
maybe I'll get a fan because I was funny on this, because I don't think they ever edited me to be who I am on Survivor. Like
Exactly.
the casting director said to me, they never just recently, they never actually got to get you. They never got you. And I was like, I know, but I was me. They just never kind of felt like it fit their story.
Maybe we need you on like the Traders or something so that you can
That's
like
where I
really-
could shine. Like
You know?
sleep,
Heck yeah.
I get to, yes. Yeah.
I would want to be a
let's do
faithful
that.
though,
No,
because I wouldn't want to
be a
win as a traitor. I think if it was at the end and I saw people like crying, and I would be like, yeah, I'm a traitor. Just vote me out. Just get rid of me because I can't do this to you.
I would not. No, I wouldn't care. Sorry. Yes.
Cutthroat.
It was like with Ramona. I was like, oh my gosh, this whole scene where I was so nice. And I'm like, oh, when you're down, you can wear my rose colored glasses. Cut to writing Ramona's name down and being too little too late. I'm like,
All right.
I'm not a nice person, apparently. I don't know.
No,
I-
you're just
it doesn't
real.
bother-
You're
Yeah,
not
it doesn't
afraid
bother
to
me.
be, you're not afraid to get what you want. I think
Yeah.
some of us need to still get that out of us. Like, I think I still feel bad when I get things that other people don't get. I think I still try to play small in order to make other people feel more comfortable in the room. You know what I mean?
We'll
And-
fix
Yeah.
that. We're gonna fix that.
I'm still working through this bullshit, but it'll
We
go.
gotta get you through it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I do too, and I think that's a woman thing too, Leslie. I think
Yeah.
because we are expected to be small. Even now, if I say things and then a man says them, like every Boston
Totally
Rob can say
different.
whatever the hell he wants and be as
Oh,
mean
yeah.
as he wants. Coach can say things. Colby, all of them can say whatever, and it's like, oh, funny, and oh my gosh, that's a man being ambitious and strong. Woman says it, and they're like bitchy, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, why is she so whiny? And I'm
Yeah.
like this.
And this is what I say to people who have the mindset, Leslie, like that, is I say, well, why would that person deserve it more than you? Like, you deserve it just as much.
When you are brought up, and not to get religious here, but
Mhm.
when you are brought up being told that God can't even look at you because you're such a piece of crap, and that you need Jesus to cover you so that God can even tolerate you, yes, it takes a really long time to get that out of your system. It
Wow.
takes a really long time to start to feel like maybe God loves me just how I am. Maybe that's how God
Your new
created me. If there's a God.
mantra literally needs to be, I deserve good things too.
Yes.
Over and over
Yes.
again.
I could say it all day, but can I, you know what I mean? Like, I got to figure out how to get it in
Yeah,
here.
start to-
It's so
the
weird.
more
But
you
I'm
say
aware
it,
of it.
the
Being
more you'll
self-aware is the
believe it.
first step. I really do
Yes.
believe that. And
I'm not afraid to
fully
be
aware.
bitchy and get what I want. I'm not afraid. And anybody who
You
tells
deserve
me
it.
like that I'm
just
bitchy
gonna
for it,
like
they're
rub
not-
you.
yeah,
If-
they're
I'm
just
gonna
if
rub
that's
you
what
and
you
like
think,
some of it on
good.
me.
then
It's
we
like-
don't need to hang out. What you know?
Exactly.
You don't
Like,
have to
we
like me.
deserve good things too. We all deserve good things to happen to us. And
Yes.
it doesn't
We do.
mean that because their story seems sadder or more sob story, doesn't mean they deserve it more.
Right.
That's so true.
I hope good things happen to them too, but it doesn't mean they deserve it more
Sometimes.
than you. Yeah, right.
Depends on who it is.
It depends.
And you know what? That's the problem. Like, I love everybody. It's really hard for me to find somebody I don't like.
Really?
And so yes, it is. And if somebody doesn't like me, I automatically do the thing where I got to convince.
Yes.
Like, Denise did not like me, so I was all up in her, like trying to
You
get her to
were.
like me the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I
You
don't
were.
like. It's like a challenge. I'm such a mess, but I'm getting better, and I'm self-aware.
Okay, good.
So we'll get there, Jenna.
First steps. First steps. Well,
Yes.
I could coach you on that because apparently I give 0 Fs. I mean,
That's true.
I just don't.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you, my friend. You're amazing.
thank
Have a
you.
great weekend. And
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll
Bye,
see you soon.
Jenna.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I adore her. That was so much fun.
That was great. I really, that was a lot of fun. I had more fun than I expected, and I was excited to do it in the first place.
Yes.
So like, yeah, the fact that I enjoyed it more than I even thought it would is pretty huge. She's really cool. She's like super real, and I love that.
Well, and I met her last summer, and we did kind of talk pretty intensely about religious stuff. And I was like, oh, I love her even more now because I didn't
Like-
know that about her. Like, and I just think when you've gone through something that difficult, it's kind of like being on Survivor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you understand
Totally.
the trauma. You understand how hard it is to get away from that and, to heal from it. So to meet her and then have her on the show, this was a super big treat for me. And I don't know why
And
she
she's
gets me
also
to like
funny.
confess things.
Like, she's also funny. I like her dry wit and her sarcasm. I enjoy that. And
I
she has a lot of it.
I know, it was so fun. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Jenna. I know we did. And tell your friends, share the podcast. Make sure you're leaving us some voicemails on SpeakPipe. The link is in the show notes. We love to hear from you. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, we love it. Right, Todd?
We really do. Yeah, it's one of the best parts. I mean, I love chatting with the fans and hearing their stories. And so please, yes, leave a voicemail.
Well, have a great week. And we will see you next time right here on Beyond the Torch.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today on Beyond the Torch. And before we go, I just want to let you know the story doesn't end when the episode does. Todd pours his creativity into Todd's Pop Shop, where he designs custom Funko Pops for fans who love Survivor and pop culture. You can find his work on Instagram at Todd's Pop Shop. And if you're in a season of transition with your faith, identity, or even just life in general, I'm Leslie Neese, a life and faith transition coach, and I offer one-on-one coaching for people learning how to move forward honestly and whole. You can find me at leslieneesecoaching.com. I also host a podcast called Honoring the Journey, where we talk openly about faith perspectives, doubts, questions, and the courage it takes to stay curious. Thank you so much for being a part of our tribe, and thanks for walking this journey with us. We'll see you next time on Beyond the Torch.